Hello, Lupus Warriors. Welcome to Lupus Speaks Podcast. I'm your host, Shedrica Holmes, and I'm here to empower you on your journey with lupus. We'll explore practical tips, inspiring stories, and the latest in lupus research. So grab your headphones and let's dive in. Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to another episode of the Lupus Speaks Podcast, where we navigate the journey of living with lupus. I'm your host, Shedrica Holmes, and today's episode is a special solo edition where I'm going to share with you the 10 things I wish I knew about lupus and its symptoms. I don't know if you're new here or not, but I did an episode on my podcast back in 2020, and it is my number one listened episode, which is 10 things that I wish I knew when it came to being diagnosed with lupus. And I don't know why, but it came over me that I should talk about my experiences when it comes to the symptoms that I have experienced and that I wish that I knew sooner, in hopes that it would help you understand some things that you could come across and how to better deal with them. So this is 10 things that I wish I knew lupus symptoms edition. So the first one is fatigue. So the exhaustion that comes with lupus is unlike anything else, okay? I wish I had known early on how crucial it is to listen to my body and prioritize rest. Fatigue isn't just tiredness, it's a signal that our bodies need extra care and attention. So there's been plenty of times where you may feel like you cannot get out of bed. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because it's just the lupus tearing you down or your depression or anything like that. Like, it's legit. You can't move and you need the rest, and you need to pay attention to that and give yourself the rest and the care that you need. I feel like I've mentioned this before, but it's really important for you to understand that your lupus is not your fault. And it's just our bodies telling us that it's something that we need to pay attention to. And so fatigue is going to be one of those things that are very alarming and should be recognized. That you need to sit down. Sis, you need to sit down, you need to rest, you need to prioritize your emotional state, your physical state, and dive deep into what's making you so restless. All right. So that's just some of like what I've dealt with when it comes to the fatigue. It's been times where I just cannot move and I'm not able to do anything for myself or my children. And I actually do not rest because it's hard to, y'all. It's hard to, just being transparent. It's hard to do that when I have kids. I don't know if any other loopy mom can relate, but it's definitely heartbreaking when you physically are not able to do the things that are needed to be done. And it's definitely something that you need to look out for when it comes to lupus symptoms. It's going to be fatigue. So next on the list is joint pain. Aching and stiffness can be debilitating. And I'll be sharing my experience dealing with joint pain and the strategies I've learned to manage it effectively. So when it comes to the joint pain, to be honest, I really don't have a real strategy that I've learned to manage it besides taking my meds. I have not taken the holistic approach to wellness and lupus, as in a sense of using my food as my medicine and all of those things like that that would help with the aches and the stiffness. But I do try to be consistent with taking my medications and doing that responsibly, in order to keep down the joint pain. My actual rheumatologist does not give anything for pain except for high doses of prednisone. So I don't know if that's you guys' same experiences, but the steroids work in the sense of the joint pain and the stiffness. However, it does not take away the side effects that steroids do give you when it comes to the water retention and the weight, and it's just the things that you have to deal with while taking prednisone for a long, extensive period of time. So I don't really have much to say on that besides just if you are on treatment to stay consistent with your treatment, and if you use food as your medicine, definitely dive into what causes those stiffness and aches with the food. That would be my suggestion to managing the joint pain effectively. So one of the biggest struggles for me is going to be my next symptom, which is my skin rash. Issues that I have, because again, your biggest organ on your body is definitely your skin. And I feel like that is one of my main struggles, getting through lupus, is the itching, because it's an itch that you cannot scratch. It is a uncomfortable being in your own skin. It burns, it's red, it's visibly painful, and you have the stares and the looks of wondering what the heck is wrong with your skin. So with that, a lot of times it comes from me being in the sun too long. Usually I start to get into a lupus flare normally around the end of May, right when summer is about to transition. That's when I get my sickness, my sickest. I mean, and my symptoms become a little bit more. It's just there. That's all I have to say about that. And so staying out of the sun or staying covered or wearing appropriate clothing to keep the sun from really attacking my skin. I'm trying to think of something else that I do for this, and I really can't think of anything besides medicine. So with this struggle, I've had to take Benadryl. I've had to take so actually, to be honest, I'm currently on a injection called Xolair for this controlling of the skin issues. And at some point, I felt like taking the shots was not doing anything to help me alone, until my rheumatologist put me on CellCept. And with CellCept, it was with the shot and CellCept together, it seemed as if the symptoms of my skin improved tremendously. So it's supposed to be like an acute vasculitis, which is like hives that never go away. So I would just break out in hives every single day. I would wake up with them on my face, on my lip, on my eyebrows, on my toes, in the bottom of my hands, on the bottom of my feet. If you follow me on social media, you've probably seen it. But it's very painful. It's a very uncomfortable thing to deal with. So that's one of the biggest struggles that I have with lupus physical symptoms. And so the next one is going to be hair loss. This is a common but emotionally challenging aspect of lupus. And so currently, right now, I have been dealing with hair loss. And Honestly, I don't know exactly where it came from. I want to say that it's the cell sep that is what's causing my hair to thin out. I mean, it is thinning out a lot. And it has been an emotional thing for me because I did decide to cut my hair short. And I've been wearing my pixie cut and it's been fly, it's been cute. I've been rocking it, it's been thick, it's been full, and then boom, it just started thinning. And honestly, I don't want to take the ownership of admitting that it could possibly be the relaxer that's causing my hair to fall out. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to just say that it's a lupus reason why. Because the way that your hair falls out when you have lupus, it has a certain look. My hair texture changed in general by while having lupus. Like, it's just very fine, like almost like baby hair. And so it leaves like these lesions on your scalp, like sores and scabs. And yeah, I think that the emotional challenge with dealing with my hair being falling out every time I touch it is a bit tough. And I mean, because I'm currently going through that right now, is why I say that it's a definite struggle. And I don't really know exactly what I could do in order to prevent my hair from coming out besides reducing the amount of times that I do put a relaxer in my hair. And there is really no other way for me to do protective styles besides wearing a wig, because any type of heavy tension or anything like that, it will pull my hair out. Like braids don't last in my hair no longer than 2 weeks. And I haven't had braids in over a year. Or no, yeah, about a year. So, knowing that the weight of the hair, the extensions would really tear my scalp up too. So right now I'm just like living with a thin pixie cut and it's just what it is. And if I need to invest in, that's the thing about women of color, like we can invest in different things to make our hair be different. And switch it up, and it's kind of expected of us because that's what we do. We change our hair. So I'm hoping that maybe if I consume more water, then my hair would be a little bit stronger. But that's just wishful thinking. So another symptom that I wish that I knew sooner when I was struggling in my earliest days with lupus in 2008 was I did not know that I was going to have to learn how to walk and talk again. I just did not know that I was going to have so many physical rehabilitation issues. I had to have, fortunately, I was able to receive occupational therapy. And because at this time when I wasn't able to walk and talk, I was on hospice. So it was an outpatient care situation. So they would come to my home and they would the occupational therapist would help me gain my strength in my legs again, and we would go out and transition from a walker, and then we went to eventually walking outside, and I was able to use a cane, and I was able to learn how to walk again. And as far as talking again, I had to have not occupational therapist, speech therapist to come and help me talk. And I feel like the speech therapy was definitely the hardest one because it's like your brain knows what it wants to say and you can't get the words out. It's probably the most heartbreaking thing ever because at least with the walking part, you have other tools that will help you get around. You know, like you can be pushed in a wheelchair. You can have somebody carry you. I mean, I've had all those things. I had a cane, a walker. So it was like I was still able to be mobile. But when you can't speak, it just does something else to you. Just being removed of your voice. I mean, being voiceless is a very painful experience when you're in the adults and you have so many things that you want to say and you want to have a way to express yourself and what you're going through and you have to be quiet. Baby, that's a word right there. Quiet. And I've said this before. I feel like a lot of us have been silenced so much just within our pains and things that we have gone through, that we suffer in our silence. So having to be physically silenced on purpose, or not on purpose, because I mean I didn't do it to myself, but just being made to be silent is something that you have to be strong enough to stomach and be able to get out. But I feel like God knew that I was going to say some things that I probably would regret today. I would not probably be here today had I said out loud what I was actually feeling while I was suffering. So me being silent probably was the best thing for me. But shoot, I ain't know that at the time, honey. I did not think that at the time, okay? That was a different walk. But just being where I am today has definitely helped me see clearer why I had to go down that walk. I feel like a part of this is also a form of grief and shame. That is not a physical symptom, but it is a symptom of living with lupus. These emotions that often accompany chronic illnesses, you know, it's hard to navigate. You know what I'm saying? It's I just wish I knew that I was gonna have to deal with all the grief of purging my old self and what I thought I was gonna be and who I wanted to become, and knowing that lupus was an impact that was gonna keep me from getting that. And then the shame of feeling like I'm the quote unquote disabled one. The shame of feeling like I'm not like anyone else. It was just crazy because I'm as I'm speaking to you now, I just think of what my mindset is now, and I'm just like, I am different from everybody else. I'm a different type of person. I'm a different type of woman, and God has made me great because of this. Again, when you're in the middle of suffering, you do not understand, you do not know your story, what is it to be, and how impactful it really is. Like, how many people are really watching you carry yourself while you navigate this journey of living with lupus, and the grief and the shame and the attacks on the depression. I mean, that's probably the toughest companion on this road, on this journey, is experiencing the coping mechanisms that you need for your mental health. Not everyone has support. So let me put that out there. Having support is so important when it comes to navigating lupus. Like, doing this alone, I'm sorry that there are people out there that have to deal with this alone. The grief, the shame, the depression, the suffering that you do with your own mind can really affect you more physically than the lupus in itself. Because I like to say that I'm a pretty tough cookie, you know what I'm saying? I've dealt with some things, you know. Shoot, having a child, period, point blank, you can do something, okay, physically. Your body can do something. And it knows how to heal itself. But the thing that we're not taught is our mind. We are not taught how to heal our mind, how to get through things and navigate emotions and the things that we tell ourselves. And not only that we tell them to ourselves, but that we believe them. So being able to navigate that emotion and understanding what you need in order for your mental health to be strong, baby, you're going to have to go to therapy. You're going to have to talk to somebody. You'll have to unwrap all of that, unpack all of that grief and that shame and the emotion that comes with this. There are so many people that have experience in helping us get over these things. This is something that is tied to you now, and you can eat all the right food. You can work out in exercise. You can stretch. You can do yoga. You know, you can pray. But you need real tools to be able to navigate these emotions, to create a new perspective on your life and what it actually will look like for you. And it doesn't have to look like suffering all the time. Because the thing about lupus is that it does get better. Coming from a person who had lupus for almost 16 years now, it does get better. And you do have moments and cycles of times where it's not that bad. And that you can have more of a joyful experience. But dealing with the mind is probably going to be your number one priority. So if you have not seen a therapist yet for lupus, please go find somebody. Please go connect with someone that can help coach you through this. Because I feel like personally, in my opinion, you need a coach and you need a therapist. You need a therapist to break down all of the things in your past, all of these feelings and emotions that you don't fully understand, or things that tie in together from your childhood to your life now. And then you need a coach to cheer you on along the way of your next steps in the journey in the life that you would like to have. And there are plenty of lupus coaches out there. We have so many that I've connected with already. Coach Lizette at the Lupus Coach. She's someone you can reach out to. And also Coach Jenny Mack at Jenny Mack. Find them on Instagram. Go to their websites. They both have some tools that I find to be very impactful. And I feel like what they've learned and the wisdom that they have to coach you through these emotions and this energy healing and this space of it being a whole body healing experience. It can't just be just the food. It can't just be the working out. It can't be just the spiritual aspect of it all. It's a wholeness, a wellness for your whole body, for your whole life. Ties into all of this mental thing with the grief and the shame and the depression. Those things make you more crippled. Because now your mind is the strongest thing that you need in order to do the physical things, to have the courage and the strength to move your body, and the courage and the strength to speak your voice, to speak your mind, setting boundaries, that accountability for yourself. It starts with your mind. And so when you have certain things that, make you feel like you're incapable of doing things, it does add an additional burden. And I'm talking about the financial burden of living with lupus. And I just do not want to shy away from this topic because I feel like I do mention this a lot on the podcast, because it's so many challenges when it comes to the aspects of finances. First of all, the treatment that we on costs money. Okay, it's pretty expensive. I'm on all kinds of injections, and then most of the times when you are dealing with lupus, you have to have special doctors, and those are specialty fees and co-pays and things like that. But if you wanted to go a holistic route, you got supplements and vitamins and fruits and vegetables and grains, and all of those things cost money. So even if you wanted to be well financially, there's a limit there. And if you don't have the right tools to navigate your finances, you will struggle. And I just wish I knew this sooner. I wish that I knew how to navigate my finances, and usually using what I did have as a source or a resource to make more money. Because I feel like that mental capacity would have helped me find balance sooner on how to manage my lupus symptoms and overall what I need to deal with, and also balancing how to make some money. We are crutched in a way, and especially when you have been in the system of living off a disability. That's a whole nother conversation. I'll do an episode about that later. But just being on disability kind of keeps you in this cycle of accepting that you can't do more, and that the amount that they give you is okay. And that, and by all means, it's manageable But do we really manage it? So I say that, do we have a budget in place? Are we fixing our credit in order to earn and have more assets later on? Are we giving into all of these worldly desires? Meaning, I gotta have this, I must have that, I need this, I need that. You know, are we really asking ourselves the right questions when it comes to money? And we really need to come up with a plan on how we should definitely disperse our finances. And I think that that would help with some of the mental aspects of things, because we can live a softer life when it comes to managing lupus, and we won't have to work so hard to be able to provide the things that we need, such as medicine, doctors, therapists, food, memberships, supplements, experiences. Because I feel like that's my next thing is experiences, being able to live out certain experiences that do mean something to you, like taking trips with your family, being able not to worry about a certain expense because, you know, you can afford it. I think at this point, everybody is in a financial space where they are looking at the world sideways. And it's just very interesting that we all as a whole are dealing with this. And if you don't manage your finances well, because this is what the Lord told me, if you don't manage what you got now, how you think you're going to handle it when you get more? That right there rubbed me the wrong way. And then, but it also made me, put me in check. It made me realize that I should just be grateful for the things that I have and steward them well. So that way he can trust me with more money. Because if I have to have all the things now and that's the motivation for me to do what I'm doing, then I'm going to blow through the money anyway. So it's already a restriction there. But I know God created me to have more and to do more. I'm just going to steward what he already given me. And I hope that you do the same. So, I definitely have to bring this to the forefront, because the whole reason why Lupus Speaks podcast even exists is because, honey, that cognitive dysfunction, that brain fog that we be getting, you know, the thing that you be talking about and then you forgot what you was going to say in the middle of the sentence. I've done it a couple of times just in this episode with a couple of pauses because I be done forgot. Or, you know, the thing that you was doing on the way to the refrigerator and you forgot what you was going to get. That's the challenge. Memory loss, difficulty concentrating, mental confusion. Man, the struggle of my life. Matter of fact, the struggle of any adult, or the struggle of any adult mom. We don't know what be going on, but somehow we get things done. But I'm going to tell you how I have learned how to get things done. I write everything down. Everything. Because at least I know that there is a common place for all of my thoughts, all of my feelings, all of my meals, all of my bills, all of my chores, all of my to-dos, all of my passwords. I know at least there's a common place for that. So if my mind goes blank, I do know where I can find that. And maybe that's several notebooks for some of you. Because for me it is. I have a commonplace planner that has everything in it, but I also have different notebooks that have different prayers and dreams and thoughts and ideas. And I'm able to go to those things as resources to remind me who I am and who I plan on being and who God has created me to be. Planning is what prepared me for this moment today, this conversation with you. Planning has helped me navigate my brain fog. Now, I'm not going to say that it's not going to happen. I don't know the tips and the strategies that can help you revive your memory loss or your ability to concentrate better or even the mental confusion. But I do know that if you write things down and have a common place where you can find this information, it will help you at least not feel so confused, not feel so out of place. And I'm pretty sure that there are some focus techniques that help you stay focused. I'll just give you one that I do is I eliminate all distractions around me. I have to go to a place where I am able to focus. And then because I have small children, I have to even leave my home sometimes in order to get that silence, to have that concentration. I put my phone on Do Not Disturb, and I give myself a limit of time, because if I focus too much, then my brain will start hurting, and then I get frustrated, and then I start getting nauseated and whatnot. But that's just me. So I just give myself, like, they say 25-minute intervals of time to do something to focus, but I give myself an hour, because I feel like once I break my focus too much, then again, that brain fog gonna click in. I'm gonna forget where I left off at. I'm gonna get distracted. I'm gonna be on Instagram. I'm gonna be commenting and stuff and wanting to do it. So yes, for me to stay on task, I need my planner. I need my to-do list. I need something I can check off to get that instant gratification. These are all my personal symptoms that I've dealt with. I'm sure that there are more, and there's others that have to deal with way more than what I do. But this is just, my experience. So as we wrap up today's episode, I just want you to remember that you are not alone in this journey. So thank you again for joining me on this special solo edition of Lupus Speaks. And until next time, you guys, peace and be intentional. As we wrap up another episode of Lupus Speaks, I hope you are leaving with renewed inspiration and a belief that dreams are attainable despite lupus or any chronic illness. Let's keep the conversation going by connecting with us at Lupus Speaks on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Please remember, you are not alone on this journey, and that your dreams are not defined by lupus. They're powered by your strength and determination. So until next time, you guys, peace and be intentional.